So thank you from the bottom of my heart to the Susan B. Anthony List Board of Directors for your leadership. Please stand up. For our Executive Vice President, Emily Buchanan, for your genius management. For Frank Cannon, for your strategic guidance, please stand up. With the help of God's grace, the talent of the SBA List team, and so many of you in this room, you have nurtured and built Susan B. Anthony List step by step for such a moment as this. Ladies and gentlemen, guess who's coming for dinner tonight? The President of the United States of America. It's possible you knew this. His presence here marks an historic moment in the tough and tender project we share. The mission of protecting boys and girls waiting to be born and embracing their mothers in need of our love. Picture with me for a moment, though, what we might have had and where we actually are. If the 2016 election, so closely fought, had turned out differently, if your Susan B. Anthony List battleground plan had not succeeded, we would not be paving the way for states to disentangle Planned Parenthood from taxpayer funding. We'd be fighting to save the Hyde Amendment. We would be witnessing the export of abortion internationally by our government with our own tax dollars over the brave objections of heroes from Nigeria, like our pro-life activist Obiwanju Okiecha. Well said, right? We would be watching federal regulators use Obamacare to expand government-paid abortions by fiat and forcing more people, including nuns, to pay for abortions. We would be grieving the loss of support for women and children as pregnancy centers get forced to close down their businesses, not looking for ways in the federal government to support their beautiful work. We would not be talking about enacting pro-life laws in defiance of Roe versus Wade. We'd be strategizing around the margins to see if there was any pro-life law we could save, and watching helplessly while the government installed pro-abortion judges top to bottom on the federal bench. But we fought in 2016 for a different future. We fought for them, the mothers and the children, and they are worth fighting for. We fought and we won together. We won an historic opportunity. Thanks to your support, if we elect a pro-life Senate this year, we have a fighting chance to do what the pro-life movement has wanted to do since 1973, to overturn the great stain on our national conscience, Roe versus Wade. Had we stood down and allowed the forces against life to appoint new Supreme Court justices, today's opportunity would have been shut down, closed off, lost for a generation at least a generation, if not forever. But now, why do we have this chance? Because of all your hard work, your contributions, your time, your talent, your love, and because of the grace of God, to whom we give thanks. But it's also because of one man who stood up for the unborn boys and girls, who invited us in and who kept his word. Many doubted, and that is understandable. We've been betrayed before. He had no record to run on, but I am here to tell you today that when it comes to life, President Trump is keeping his promises. A man of his word, he has talked the talk and he has walked the walk, starting well before his swearing in. He is fighting the good fight. Yes, he's been hard at work stopping our tax dollars from funding abortion at home and abroad, but he's done more. He's been reforming the courts at a record pace with judges who respect life, the Constitution, and the will of the American people. But he's done more. Yes, personnel is policy, and some of the key people here tonight are testimony to President Trump's commitment to life. Kellyanne Conway, Mark Short, Paul Teller, Nick Ayers, Justin Clark, Sarah Sanders, Johnny DeStefano, and there are so many, including all the cabinet secretaries. It's impossible, and that speaks loudly, to mention all of them. President Trump has done everything in his power to protect unborn children and their mothers and get American taxpayers out of the abortion business for good. He is the most pro-life president in history, and he will do more if we fight for his pro-life agenda at the polls in November. We must have a Senate that's not just Republican, but pro-life. And with your help at the Susan B. Anthony list, we have assembled the largest ground game in the nation for this purpose. This November, I promise you, and I promise the pro-abortion forces, we will be visiting millions of homes, letting voters know what their elected officials are doing here in Washington, having life-giving conversations, not just with partisans, but with citizens of every race, every creed and color, who know that late-term abortion is an abomination that must end, and that they and their children are worth fighting for. This is an historic moment, and dear friends and people of good conscience, we are at the cusp of changing history and restoring our right to fight for the laws that protect children and women in every state in this country. We are one Supreme Court judge away, and we need not only a president we trust to appoint, but a Senate that will confirm his judges. The moment is here, and the man is too. Ladies and gentlemen, I have the incredible honor and privilege to introduce to you tonight a man who has led as he campaigns, who has been as good as his word in fighting for life, a man who is worth fighting for because they are worth fighting for. Ladies and gentlemen, the President of the United States, Donald J. Trump.